Hello. This is, I've lost count, I think 5 or 6. Episode 5 or 6. And Robert are again with me in the car. Today we're going to talk about something that's actually more your field of knowledge than mine.
Yeah.
To be honest. We're going to talk about electric ferries.
It's not often we can say that. But, I have more expertise in something. But yeah, we're gonna talk about electric ships, ferries, cruise ships, etc.
Yeah, now we have a lot of ferries in Norway because we have fjords and water and a very long coastline, so it's only natural. Now, the Department of Transport they are expecting by 2020-2021 that there will be around 60 plus pure battery electric ferries traveling back and forth in the country. And actually I read about when it comes to charging, it's a bit like cars really. It's not a standard way to do this, so there's several different ways of charging, and they are actually positive to this because during this 5 or 6 years, 3 or 4 years trial, they will run around testing about 3 different ways of charging the ferries, and that will give them a lot of practical data to make their decision on which is the best when it comes to functioning in everyday use. So where are we now? Who are the leading companies in this field?
As we speak, they have some competition where the road administration in Norway are putting the ferries out, so different companies can put bid on the routes.
As a contract?
As a contract, yes. And in Hordaland County, they have now been signing contracts on 17 different ferry crossings that all has to be zero emission ferries. So Fjord 1, that is the biggest company in ferries in Norway right now. They have said that by 2022 there won't be any diesel ferries in their fleet. They are now building 20 electric ferries.
That's quite a lot.
That will be delivered in the next 4 years.
Within the limits of 2020, 2022,
yeah, 2022. Yeah. And as we speak, the first ferry crossing in Norway is been electric. All electric ferries.
Okay.
The first ferry arrived at the New Year, and the second ferry has still been delivering right as we speak.
Okay.
So this is the first, but the first ferry company in Norway that has had an electric ferry was Norled, and their Ampere. And this was
not to be confused with the car then.
Yeah. And they have had this was you can say it was a prototype. It's been a lot of difficulties with the ferry, not that it doesn't get any charge. Fortunately, it hasn't run out of juice in the middle of the fjord and just drifted away out on the North Sea and then ended up on a beach in Scotland. But yeah, but they have taken experience from this ferry, and yeah, Fjord One that has. I will say Fjord One is one of the companies that now are.
Yeah, but the Norled, you were speaking of the Ampere, that's two different companies.
Yeah, that's two different companies.
I think I heard about that Ampere ferry, that the company who they said, okay, let's try this thing, and they did the math and they figured out that this will be in the maintenance and running cost would be cheaper than diesel. But now that how long have they been running it? A year, 2 years?
Ampere, 3 years.
Okay, so now they found out that it was substantially cheaper to run than even they had expected it to be. So I think they're going mostly all electric in the future. At least when they can, if the crossings isn't too long.
Yeah, of course, but due to this, as I spoken about in Hordaland, that the 17 main road ferries that shall be operated electric by 2020. This has its price tag, unfortunately. The county, Hordaland, they have to grant 600 million Norwegian kroners each year to operate these ferries.
That's what,
around $75 million.
That's just an operating cost.
In operating costs, yes. So that they have to grant this money to the companies that got.
Yeah, but they are subsidized even today, I imagine.
Yeah, but not as much as 600 millions.
No.
Because nowadays, the ferries that is running on these routes, that's ferry built in the 70s and in the 80s. That's
so they're paid down a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I would imagine
last
that.
Decade.
Yeah, but I would imagine that as battery, this same discussion going for cars. That this battery production is increasing and the prices are keeps dropping, and it will be probably more cheaper to run, and as the charging infrastructure when they're running these tests. So basically now 3 different kinds of charging, and as this gets more and more solidified into what actually works, they probably could get this more standardized as well.
Yeah, Fjord One, that now is the leading, I will say. They have done tests on the operating costs with electric ferries versus regular or ordinary ferries.
Battery electric or hydrogen fuel cell?
The tests are on automate the ferries, so batteries or hydrogen, yeah.
Okay.
But they have done tests, and the operating cost is reduced by 15%.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Depending on the on if
and Fjord One, unlike Norled, Fjord One has relatively new ferries also today, but 15%, that's a lot.
Yeah, depending on if it's annual or what. But it's still money by all means.
Yeah.
And where we're sitting now, we're currently in Fredrikstad, in Eastfold in Norway. Next, not that far from Sweden.
What the heck did you call the county?
Eastfold.
I think we'll say Østfold.
Yeah, well. Behind us, if you can see it, it's the old town, old city. It's an old fortified town from, I don't know what, 1600, yeah. And they're running. It's a big river running all across here, and they're running ferries, run by local local administration, and it's free for its inhabitants. But they are now currently running on diesel.
Yes.
But they will go on electric.
The politicians has said that they want to try and change from diesel to electric. Unfortunately, there are some parties in Fredrikstad that aren't that keen on this. So it's still been discussed in
a local administration.
Yeah. So maybe one day.
So there's no definitive conclusion on this yet, and they haven't set a timeline.
Not yet. There are always once a month, twice a month, something in the newspaper about this decision. But they had last summer they had a ferry on to show here that was electric, and they said, "Oh, this is the future." And a lot of people showed up and wanted to see, because the ferry that I don't know if you have seen it behind us, but this ferry that goes from this place we are now at Sissingjå and over to the old town, because of the rehabilitation of the bridge that is further in, because of the rehabilitation, this ferry has to go 24/7. So at least 4 times an hour the ferry has to cross here, and the pollution. It's even if it's not a huge ferry, it's still have some pollution.
Of course. It is after all burning old dinosaurs. So
Yeah, those dinosaurs.
But what about more internationally and Europe? And you have various other places as well.
Yeah, of course. Europe is, especially here in the northern part of Europe, you have a lot of ferries, both here and in the United Kingdom. But
Sweden, Germany has a few.
Yeah, and Scandlines, a Danish-German company that operates 3 lines for passengers and freight between Denmark and Germany. They are the owner of the world's largest hybrid ferry fleet in the world,
right?
With a total of 6 hybrid ferries.
Okay.
And they also own the world's largest hybrid ferry, and so they are putting effort and money into this. The hybrid ferries, they were put in traffic, I think it was last year or 2016, but they were supposed to be in traffic in 2012.
Oh, so some delays there.
Yeah, the shipyard went bankrupt.
Right.
And when the new shipyard took over, they found out that the ferries were too heavy.
Oh.
So to get into the harbor, one of the harbors.
Yeah, because it went too deep.
It was
probably
too deep.
Okay.
So they had to strip down the ferry and make it 30% lighter to
That's a lot. I mean, considering you have to have certain things you must have in a ferry. I'm no ferry constructor, but I imagine that removing 30% of weight out of something, particularly given that a lot of it was already constructed, that's a big job.
They had to do a quite a job.
Yeah, that's a big engineering feat just to manage to do that.
But now the Color Line, that is a Norwegian company, they have next year.
They're running ferries between Oslo, Denmark, and Kristiansand, which is in the south, and Denmark or Germany.
Yeah,
or
between Norway and Denmark, Sweden, and Germany.
Yeah, so they're pretty relatively big then.
Yeah, of course. But next year they will put in service hybrid ferry
Okay.
with a fantastic, a cool name, Color Hybrid, and and this ferry will.
I wonder what color scheme they will end up in that ferry then, if it's a hybrid color.
Yeah, and what I don't know. But this will take over for a ferry that is 45 years old and runs on diesel.
Right.
And it's bigger, so they will take a little more passengers. But Color was very clever because when they wanted to construct this ferry, they said, "Yes, we will construct this ferry if you give us time at the harbor at 10 o'clock." Because Sandefjord Strømstad, where this ferry goes, it's a very lucrative ferry crossing.
Yeah.
And there are two companies operating. And the departure from Sandefjord at 10 o'clock is very, very much money.
Okay, so it's a popular.
It's a popular time to depart.
Okay.
And they said, if we get the departure time at 10 o'clock, we will build this ferry.
Aha.
If you don't get it, okay, you are stuck with the 45-year-old ferry.
But so they sort of, there were no legislative demands from the local authorities, and that had to be that could just force them to build this hybrid ferry.
No.
Okay, so they sort of do it out of their own goodwill.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Strange.
But that's the way to do business. They know that if they get the departure time at 10 o'clock, and they do have a larger and newer ferry, passengers will come.
Yes, of course.
And they block for the other company.
Yeah, well, obviously.
But last of all, I want to discuss one thing before we end this, and that's Norway is known for one thing, and that's their fjords.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fjords, and the fjords are very popular for tourists.
Yeah, and rightly so. I've been. It's really wonderful. It's a great place to be.
Because I don't think I have known or met a person that are so excited to see fjords as you.
Well, no, but
I have lived there and I have seen fjords, but when I got to meet you, oh, it's a fjord! That's not almost better than you know.
Well, I'm from this
flat pancake.
Yeah, well, it's pretty flat. It's pretty. There's nothing very special, but then when you come to both the north, but mostly the eastern parts of this country, where you have the
Western.
Sorry, I meant western. Mountains and fjords, and in the right, when the sun is out, it's just as great as you heard, and maybe even better.
And of course, the cruise lines know this.
Yeah, of course, it's a big selling point.
And last year, Flåm and Geiranger, that is the two most popular,
most visited places.
They had approximately 20% of all cruise passengers in Norway. Almost 600,000 passengers visited these two places, fjords.
The places I've been there, they're very small.
Yeah.
They're more like small towns, or very small places.
Small places. Yeah. That's how. But and because of it's small, and it's a fjord, and you have the mountains on both sides.
Yeah, you just go like this.
And when the cruise ships are in the places, the pollution gets very high.
Yeah, because they can't go into land, so they just have to stay out in the fjord, and they have to be ferry people back and forth
Yeah,
with
and
the smaller boats. So they just stay out in the fjord and keep running all the time.
yeah, and I read about a Brit
Yeah.
that has sent a letter to the Minister for Climate and Environment in Norway, where he complained about the experience he had in Geiranger. He was staying there for 2 days. The first day was very nice. The second day, he took a tour up in the mountainside.
Yeah.
And he was scared to see all the pollution and the ships that were in Geiranger. That's diesel smoke.
Yeah, you could just see like almost like a lid
carpet of diesel smoke was surrounding the fjords.
Yeah, because if it's no wind, because of the location with the mountains, there's very little natural wind that could just. It's so closed that would just build up within the mountains and within the fjords, and just if you get up, you can just see down and see this thick, almost fog-like.
Yeah, but there's better time.
Okay.
On the way.
Great.
In 2016, a Norwegian shipbuilders build this. They call it the Opera House in Norway on water because
I've seen it. It's great.
it's called a Vision of the Fjords.
Yeah.
It's a very, very cool name. And this is on parts of the fjord cruise in Nærøyfjorden, in Flåm.
Yeah.
They use electricity
Okay.
to reduce the pollution on the environment. And it was named Ship of the Year in 2016. And the company, they hope that they can build more of these, so they can reduce and that the environment gets better.
But that's not a cruise ship.
No, it's not a cruise ship. This is it's a cruise. It's type of catamaran that has you can go and sightseeing in the
So
fjord.
more like a cross between a local ferry and a sightseeing boat.
Yeah, you can call it a sightseeing boat. Yeah, but they hope there are some regulations on the way that the ships has to be more more friendly for the environment. So there are things happening as we speak.
Yeah, good.
So maybe next time we're making when it gets better, we can make another video.
Yeah.
If there has been when there is things happening.
Yeah, more. I mean, things are happening all the time, so it's exciting. I hope you found this interesting. I have to thank you for participating and really pushing this theme. We were hoping to make this one last weekend. We didn't find time, but now it's here. Thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe and all that, and do leave a comment. Thank you. Bye.
See ya!